Thank you for joining today's talk. And this is the second talk on the Śrīmālā Sutra. And last week, I briefly talked about how the Queen Śrīmālā get to know Shakyamuni Buddha through her parents' introductions. And then Queen Śrīmālā prayed to Buddha, and Buddha manifest in the sky, and then Śrīmālā praised the Buddha, and then the Buddha prophesies her to be the future Buddha. And then we also talk about the content of Buddha's prophecy, including the Queen Śrīmālā's future name, pervasive light, and also her future pure land, and her future people that will go to her pure land, and also the practice in that pure land. And so then all this content was about generating faith in Tathagata. So today we are going to continue to the second and third chapters about the 10 great upholdings and 3 great aspirations. And plus the chapter 4, embrace the true Dharma. These 3 chapters are about the causal practice of one vehicle. And so today I will focus on the 10 great holdings or 10 great vows, different kind of translation, and the 3 great aspirations. And these are very important topics, especially for Mahayana practitioners. So the first chapters was about taking refuges. So after Queen Śrīmālā saw Buddha in person, and then she recalled what she had practiced in her previous life through Buddha's reply, and then she immediately take refuge in Buddha. And so she generates strong faith in Tathagata. And then naturally, the second part will go to making vows. And that includes the 10 great upholding and 3 great aspirations. And that's also happened to our ordinary life. When we believe in something, and then we will make a wish to something to happen. And then next, we will take actions, which for Śrīmālā Sutra, the Queen Śrīmālā, the action she takes is to embrace the true Dharma. So today, the making vows and taking actions are a very important practice for all the Buddhists. After we take the 3 refuges, and then usually we will make vows and practice. Regarding making vows, there are 2 parts usually. The first part is the 10 great holdings precepts in this sutra. But for Buddhists, when we take 3 refuges, usually we will take 5 precepts at the same time. And then after we take the precepts, then we will make vows. Here we talk about 3 great aspirations, and for Buddhists, we will take the four great vows. So today the topic is actually about the precept and the oath or aspiration that Queen Śrīmālā committed. Okay, so when we talk about taking the precepts actually a lot of people are afraid of taking the precepts because it's kind of a bondage that restrict you not to do something, and so it seems like you lost freedom. But it's actually precept is helping us to fulfill our wishes. So when we take the precepts, it further divided into two parts. One is through a ritual, we receive the precepts, we make vows. And the second part is upholding the precepts, taking actions. So receiving the precept is very important. At this, we commit that I want to follow the precepts, but upholding the precept is more important process because it actually helps us to be aware of our daily behaviors, like what we think, what we talk about, what we are talking about, and what we are doing, and anything that is violating the precepts, that anything that is harming people or hurt our own self as well. So upholding the precept, when we take the action to uphold the precept, it actually helps us to be alert what we are doing in the daily life. But when we talk about the precepts, there are two different aspects or two different lineage that interpret precepts in a different way. Okay, not dramatic, but in a different ways. That usually we will compare Mahayana precepts versus Sravaka precepts. The Sravaka precept is like what we took for as a monastic. Okay, so there are two categories of precepts. One is called specific precepts. That's like Sravaka precepts. That is Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha issue these precepts depending on the situation and status. So through the mistake from Buddha's disciple in the daily life, and then Buddha will try to set a rule for the monks and nuns to better regulate their behavior in the daily life, especially in Sangha, in a community, that if one does not follow the rules, and then the whole Sangha will become disharmony. So the first type of Sravaka precept is about 5 precepts for lay practitioners. So if you have received take the 3 refuges, and in our tradition, usually you take the 5 precepts at the same time of not killing, not stealing, no sexual misconducts, and no lying, and no intoxicants and alcohols. And that's for lay practitioner and monastic as well. That's a standard fundamental precepts for all the Buddhists to keep. And further, there are 10 precepts. On top of the 5 precepts, there are 5 others precepts for the novice. So if you want to become a monastic, the first step is you need to become a novice in the Sangha and receive the monastic training. And then for male, we call Samanera, and for female, we call Samaneri. Okay. And then there are more. If one really want and receive the so-called 4 precept, patimokkha, then you can become a monastic male called monk, and female called nun. Okay, so for monks, usually it's about like 250 precepts plus, and the nun has like 350 precepts plus. And why the female has more precepts than the monks? Because in the daily life, there are more rules and regulations for nuns to keep in order to keep females' safety, especially in the ancient India. Okay, so all this called Sravaka precepts that depends on who you are, and then you take different precepts. And the other categories of precepts called common precepts, such as Bodhisattva precepts. And then also called the 3 cumulative pure precepts for all. Everyone can take this Bodhisattva precept. And the overall content for the 3 cumulative pure precept is first, vow to stop all immoral deeds. And second, vow to cultivate all virtuous deed. Sorry about the typo. And third, vow to save all beings. Okay, that's a general guidelines for this Bodhisattva precepts. Although different sutra or different sastras will refer to different contents of this Bodhisattva precepts, and also monastic Bodhisattva precepts are more restricted than the lay Bodhisattva precepts. All this are compared in the scholarly studies, and it's not our topic today. So here I would like to compare these 2 types of specific precepts, and the common precepts is to tell you that these Bodhisattva precepts belongs to Mahayana Precept, and this is Śrīmālā Sutras, the precept or the vows or the holdings that Queen Śrīmālā commit belongs to the common precept or the Bodhisattva precepts. And the major differences between the Sravaka precepts and the Bodhisattva precepts, Mahayana precepts, are about it's initiated or anew. Okay, I hope that I could get this translation right. Okay, so for Sravaka precepts that I just mentioned, that 5 precepts for lay people, 10 precepts for novice, and the 4 precepts for monastics. These are called the Sravaka precepts. We initiated this precept when we decided to take them. Okay, so this precept become valid for you to follow when you initiate your mind that you want to take them. And if one of the key precepts is broken, for example, you commit a killing, okay, actually for the first 4 precepts of the 5 precepts are the key precept for all the Sravaka precepts. If a monk or nun commit a killing people, then automatically the whole precepts terminate. So we lost our status being a monk or nun if we committed this, break these 5 key precepts. Okay, so in other words, these precepts only valid and for a lifetime. So when we die, for a monk or nun, or for lay practitioners, the precepts we took in our life terminated when we die. Okay, so this is Sravaka precepts, see at that. But on the other hand, the Mahayana precepts, okay, start anew because these precepts are within the intrinsic function of Tathagata to avoid the wrongdoings and be compassionate to benefit others. Okay, so in other words, if we believe in, we have a faith in Tathagata, it's already pure and it's already beneficial to others. So this Mahayana precept we took is actually anew. We start anew, again and again and again, life after life after life, and just try to will get reinforced this Mahayana precepts or Bodhisattva vows. And from Mahayana perspective, the mind is the essence of the precepts, and once taken, will extend forever. So the sutra says that, you know, ever since one take the Mahayana precepts or take the Bodhisattva precepts, that person will have the strong affinity to take the Bodhisattva precepts again and again and again, life after one life and after one life. So this is Bodhisattva precept is a very strong affinity, a very strong seed in our mind that will bring us to come back, that will take us back again. So once we take the Bodhisattva precepts, extend forever. So the question is, how about if we violate the precepts? Okay, so like I say, that if for Sravaka precepts, if we violate or break the key precepts, the whole precepts terminated. But for Mahayana precepts, because it's always about the mind, the bodhicittas, the vow to achieve the bodhicitta. So the violation of this Bodhisattva precepts happens, but we always can repent and always can come back to it again. And so you won't lose the essence of the precept because it's our mind that took this precept. Okay, so here, how we receive the precepts, the rituals are different for Sravaka precepts and the Bodhisattva precepts. For Sravaka precepts, the rituals are more demanding, okay, more masters, more teachers involved, and also more setups. And so usually it requires 3 precept masters and 7 honored witnesses to be able to transmit the Sravaka precepts, especially for the monastic, the 4 precepts. And then for the Bodhisattva precepts, actually, usually there are different ways to receive the Bodhisattva precepts. The first is we can directly receive the Bodhisattva precept from Buddha. Okay, that only happened when Buddha was alive, and it cannot happen right now. And second is from Buddha's disciples, like all the monastic are Buddha's disciples, and we can set up a Bodhisattva precept ceremony, and usually we need to invite 3 precept master to represent Buddha and to transmit these precepts to us. And the third type is unusual right now, but it also can happen if Buddha and the Buddha's disciples are not available. The first type and second type could not happen. And then one way that we can take the Bodhisattva precept is we do it in front of Buddha's statue. If Buddha's statue is not available, then we can visualize Buddhas or the three masters in front of us, and then proceed to the ritual by ourselves. But usually this is from the literature or the sutras I read. Usually, if we want to do it the third type, not just we do it in front of the Buddha's statue. Also, we need to have a good sign. Good sign. For example, you sincerely prostrate, you sincerely pray, or you sincerely make your vows. Sometimes there will be good sign happen, and for you to know that okay, Buddha or Bodhisattvas come here and to witness that you take this Bodhisattva precepts. And in this Śrīmālā Sutra, according to chapter 1, we know that Buddha manifests in the sky from far away, and in front of Queen Śrīmālā. And some people will say, oh, maybe Queen Śrīmālā received the precept directly from the Buddha. But there are many masters comments on this part. Is actually Śrīmālā Sutra should take the precepts for with the type 3 that visualize the Buddha. So in other words, through her sincere prayer that Buddha manifest, the transformed body manifests in the sky, and then in front of the manifested Buddha appearance, that the Queen Śrīmālā received her precept or vows or the upholdings. Okay, so this is the things that we need to know regarding the precept taking. And now we get to the main point. The 10 great holdings. Sorry about my translation. I changed back and forth. The 10 great vows or 10 great holdings, there are 10 items, and different masters interpreted this 10 items categorized in a different way. And then so just like I say that there are I think 5 major versions of these commentaries, and I finally decided to use the version from Master Huinan instead of Master Kuiji and Master Inshun's version, because I'll explain later. So from Master Kuiji and Master Inshun's versions, that they divided these 10 holdings or 10 vows into 3 categories based on the Bodhisattva precepts. The vow to regulate behaviors, that vow to cut off the wrongdoings, vow to cultivate the virtues, and vow to benefit sentient beings. These are the 3 main guidelines for the Bodhisattva precepts. So Master Kuiji and Master Inshun divided this 10 vows into these 3 categories, as you can see. The 1st to 5th, the 5th are the precepts to regulate behavior. The 6th to 9th to benefit sentient beings, and then 10th to cultivate the true Dharma or the virtuous Dharma. But Master Huinan's divided not dramatically different, but the logic is the first 9 precepts belongs to the mundane precepts. So it's more about the things, what to do and what not to do in this mundane world. And the last one is the precept to cultivate the true Dharma. And this is about the principle, the principle of our Buddha nature. Okay, so in other words, number 10 is the practice or the precept that help us to realize our true nature. Okay, and then the first one belongs to the precepts to regulate behavior, and the 2nd to 5th is actually the precepts to cultivate the virtuous Dharma. Okay, and the 6th to 9th, the same with the version from Master Kuiji and Master Yingshun that belongs to the precepts to benefit sentient beings. So I prefer this one because of the following reasons. Okay, the number 1, both versions agree that it's the precepts to regulate behaviors. So the content, the vows goes like, Lord, the Queen Śrīmālā say to Buddha, Lord, from now on and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not permit any thought of violation the precepts I've received. So we talk about violating the precepts and comparing the Sravaka Precepts and the Mahayana Precepts. For example, not killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, and no lying. And these precepts are the item for us to follow, and we can exercise it at the different levels. For example, for Sravaka Precepts, you cannot physically kill people. Otherwise, you violate the precept, you break the precept. You cannot physically steal people's things. You cannot physically commit a sexual misconduct. You cannot speak. You cannot talk about that you are in line where you are not. Okay, but for Mahayana precepts, if you have the thought that I'm going to kill you, you violate the precepts. Because if you recall that the Mahayana precepts is all about mind. If our mind, our thought against the pure status of the mind, we are violating the precepts. So here, Queen Śrīmālā make the commitment that, whatever the precept she took, she will not violate it, even come up any thought of violating the precept. And it's actually very hard to keep the first precepts because it's very high levels of keeping the precepts that generate not even generate a thought of violating the precepts. If we reflect our daily life, that actually we sometimes come up with some of the thoughts that are actually violate the precepts. So here, number 1, that Queen Śrīmālā make a vow to Buddha, say that I'm not even come up any thought of violating the precepts. Okay, oops. The second vow is, Lord, from now on and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not allow any thought of arrogance toward those respected teachers. Okay. It seems easy because, respected teacher, a senior teacher, usually they are much better than us. It sounds like it's hard to to be arrogant toward them. But actually, when the time goes, sometimes when the disciples get senior, and especially when they have some a little bit spatial experience through practice, it's very easy that a disciple generate arrogance. And sometimes they will think that they are better than their teachers. Not just in the Buddhist community, but also in our daily life in this mundane world, you know, that our elementary school, the teacher from the elementary school that taught us, you know, basic mathematics, you know, and now, like 20 years later, you are Ph.D. In mathematics, then of course you are much better than your elementary teacher, school teacher in the elementary schools. But we cannot generate arrogance that, oh, I'm much better than my teacher now. Okay, because without them, you will not be who you are right now. And so this is the first, especially for higher practitioners, that actually respect our teachers are very important. And sometimes teachers, you know, make mistakes, or sometimes, you know, not perfect in some way. We cannot be arrogant. And this is like in the daily life, but from my mind, you know, our mind point of view, if we are arrogant to anyone, that means our mind has the judgment for higher and lower. If that happens, our mind is not equal to everyone. Once our mind is not equal, it violates our pure mind, the status of our pure mind. And so this is not good. So arrogance is actually not to be arrogant is a good virtue, and arrogance is the wrongdoings. So here, the precept to cultivate virtues, Dharma, it's more than the cultivate virtues Dharma than keeping the behavior, regulate the behavior, because it's not behavior, it's a mindset that you might be, you know, you seem humble physically, but actually some people are arrogant inside, okay? And so it's about mind Dharma, okay? So not being arrogant is very good virtue, and equally treat everybody, no matter who they are, okay? And this third vow that Queen Śrīmālā took is, from now on, and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not allow any thought of anger or hatred towards sentient beings. Oh, this is very hard as well, you know, because once our mind still has like and dislike, and then when we encounter the things that we don't like, or, you know, when people hurt us or mistreated us, or, you know, set us up or do really bad things on us, it's really hard not to get angry. And it's really hard to let go of the anger in our mind. And this vows is not allow any thought of anger and hatred towards sentient beings. And so the anger and the arrogance are the vows not to have it. And the fourth also belongs to the precept to cultivate virtuous Dharma, that not jealousy. Okay, so again, Lord, from now on and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not allow any thought of jealousy toward the physical appearance and the belongings of others. Because if we do, we are not content. When we are not content, means we are not satisfied and we want more. And then we crave for more stuff, and then we have more vexations. Okay, so when we have a jealousy, that means we are angry. We are angry about what we cannot get what we want, and we are craving for what we have not getting yet. So these are also violate our pure mind, the status of our pure mind. And the fifth one is from now on and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not allow any thought of frugality or thrift when sharing the internal and the external Dharma. Okay, when we have frugality, that means we attach to something badly that we don't want to lose it. We don't want to share with it. We don't want to even share a tiny bit of it with others. I mean, we are very frugal. And that's also violate the pure state of our mind, because our pure mind has no gain, no loss. You never possessed anything and you never lost anything. And here, Queen Śrīmālā talk about internal Dharma and external Dharma. We can interpret it in a different way. Internal means, for example, for mundane world, that I'm very good at the computer, you know, and I can help you set up computer. That's my internal knowledge. And my external knowledge is that, you know, because I have 2 cars. I can lend you, let you drive one when you need to, you need a car to the hospital or something. So I can let you borrow my belongings and help you. And the other way is the so-called internal Dharma is about the supramundane knowledge, and external Dharma is about our mundane knowledge. Okay, so, and no matter what, the internal and external dharmas or belongings, that we should not be frugal when people need it. Okay, so the previous, from the 2nd to the 5th, about jealousy, about the arrogance, anger, jealousy, and the frugality. Those are the from the Yogacara school. These are the main dramatic vexations that we have in mind. So this mindset, these 4 mindset, will drive us for wrongdoings and wrong speech. And even though we may not show it, we may, even though we have this 4 mindset, but because we are so highly educated ourselves, that we will not speak or behave according to our 4 vexed mind, but still we have it, and that also prevent us to cultivate the real virtues of the Dharma. So Huinen's interpretation for this part, I think it's more related to the vexations that we need to avoid. And if we can avoid this vexed mind, then it's actually, on the other hand, become a virtue for us. And so next is the precepts to benefit all sentient beings. Number 6 is, Lord, from now on and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not accumulate wealth and animals for my own use. but shall share all my belongings with the poor. Here, in the ancient times, animals like the dogs and the ox and cow are very important property for a family to survive. So here we talk, Queen Śrīmālā talk about, we can accumulate wealth and animals, but not for our own sake. Okay, so you see, that's reflect us in our ordinary life, or actually for our whole life. We study hard, we learn a lot, we try to make relationships with people, we do all kinds of things. What's the purpose? We need to reflect. If it's the purpose for our own self, or even for just one's family, that's very limited. And so here, Śrīmālā say that, I shall share all my belongings with the poor. For those who does not have it, and I will share with them. And when I accumulate wealth and animals, I do it for others, not for my own self. And this is a very good mindset. And actually, if we still can make money, do a lot of things to make our life better. But if we expand our purpose of making money, half to ourselves, half to others, try it, and then you will see things change. Because your wish, your efforts are not just for yourself, and your causes and conditions will change, because your lives, half of your lives, half meanings of your lives has connection with many people, and automatically our causes and conditions of making money will change. And this is a principle. This is a knowledge for us to understand, and also this is still a good exercise for us to practice. And you'll see, causes and condition and consequence. You will see that these principles really happened. And here, the number 7, Lord, from now on and until I attain Buddhahood, I shall not practice the 4 means of bringing fellowships for my own sake. And indeed, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I shall bring the sentient beings together with undefiled, inexhaustible, and fearless mind. Okay. The 4 means of bringing fellowships are very special, a very important method, expedient method for practitioners to practice Bodhisattva path. Because if we do not have affinity with other sentient beings, our Bodhisattva path cannot be fulfilled without sentient beings. You cannot practice alone. And so I remember our master has an analogy to explain Bodhisattva path. It's just like, Grand Canyons. This hills and that hills, and there's a very steep cave, right? And then if you want to go to the other shore, you have to go down very deep and go up very high to get to the other shore. But if there's waters filled up, and then you just need a boat. And sailing from this shore to the other shore, it's much easier and much direct. And the waters are sentient beings. So sentient beings help us to go from this shore to the other shores and actually make things easier. This is called Bodhisattva path. But this four means can become a method or a strategy to earn friendship for sure. But the problem is you can use this technique to earn friendship to benefit your own self. For example, you are now, congressman, and you want more votes, more ballot for your election. And then, or you practice generosity, you donate money and make it, and then that everybody knows that you donated such and such money to some non-charity organization, and your loving speech, you talk very sweetly, you have that filmed and video on TV, and then you do some beneficial activity, and then you sweep the street with the people on the street, something like that. It could be a technique for you to earn your friendship, but deep down, this is for your own benefit, and that's not good. So this generosity, loving speech, beneficial activity, and participation means should be exercised for the purpose of benefiting other people instead of benefiting our own self, and also with undefiled, inexhaustible, and fearless mind. Okay. Now, number 8. Lord, from now on and until I attain enlightenment, whenever I observe sentient beings who are lonely, imprisoned, sick, troubled, poor, and miserable, I shall not forsake them for a single moment until they are pacified. Lord, I shall help them get out of suffering by teaching them the benefit of the Dharma before I leave them. So in this world, we always have the people that are lonely, that are in prison, sick, troubled, poor, and miserable. And especially after this pandemic, we have more people in trouble. And the way we help them, we can give them money, we can give them food, but are they pacified? Are they out of suffering? Not really, actually. So the way to help them out of suffering is actually the benefit of the Dharma. And just like, if a poor, for helping the poor, you can give them, $100 or a bowl of rice, but that does not solve their problem. The better way is to teach them technique to help them find a job and work hard and earn their livings with pride, with their own dignity. And that's real benefit to those people. So here, it actually point out a good way for us to help those in trouble or those in suffer. So that's number 8. And number 9, it's even harder, because now the vow goes like, Lord, from now on and until I attain enlightenment, whenever I see persons with occupations while violating the precepts, such as hunting, livestock farming, and those who break the precepts, I shall not I shall not abandon them. When I have the strength and meet them in their places, I shall subdue whoever needs to be subdued and build friendships with whoever needs friendships. Okay. It's easier for us to help, the poor, the people in trouble from the disasters, those kind of people. It's much easier for us to generate compassion to help them. But for those that, they are doing bad things, they violate, the law, they break the precepts, those people, we always try to avoid them, right? Those, strange people, bad people. Here, Queen Śrīmālā say, as a queen, and she will say, I shall not abandon them. And when I have the strength, see, here is the wisdom part. Sometimes, yeah, we know we should not abandon them. We should help those troubled people. But the problem is we don't have enough strength. We don't have enough power to help them. And we don't know how to help them. Here, two cases. One is subdue. Sometimes you need an expedient means to subdue them. Sometimes we need to build friendship with them. It depends. It needs a wisdom to make a judgment, which method to use so that you can help them out of the bad or wrong situations. So that first to ninth bout that accumulate to make this number 10 door. From now on and until I attain enlightenment, I vow to embrace the true Dharma and never forget it. Only embracing the true Dharma that one can get the wisdom, enough compassion, enough strength and power to fulfill the previous 9 vows. Why so? First, I see the vow is I will never forget. I'm going to stick to the vow to embrace the true Dharma. Because if one forgets the true Dharma, one forget the great vehicle. If one forget the great vehicle, one forget the perfections, the 6 paramita, how to help others. If one forget the 6 paramita, inwardly, he turned away from the great vehicle. It does not have the affinity with the great vehicle anymore. And then he would drop the vow to embrace the true Dharma. That's a big problem. You drop the vow to embrace the true Dharma, and then you will not get to it anymore. And then you lost the Bodhisattva Gotra to enter the Bodhisattva stages. The Gotra means the categories. There are like 5 categories of practitioners. And if you have the Bodhisattva vows, that means you enter into the Bodhisattva Gotra, and all the practice and knowledge will help us to enter into the Bodhisattva stages. Now you lost this Gotra. And then one loses the capability to surpass this mundane world. And we are trapped forever in this samsara, and it cannot never achieve to the supermundane era. So embracing the true Dharma is actually conclude these 10 holdings or 10 vows. And then next, all these 10 holdings will be exercised in this current life. So once the Queen Śrīmālā commit this 10 vows, that means she will exercise right away in this life. And the three great aspiration is her expectation for the future. Maybe the future in this life or the future life. It goes, first, the intention. See, we always make vows, right? We make wishes, is make vows for the future, but we need to know our intention. You know, if the intention is benefit our own self, that vow is limited. The Queen Śrīmālā make these three great aspirations for the reason that she wished this genuine oath will be pacified innumerable sentient beings. And not just pacify certain people or just pacify our own mind or pacify her family or people in the country. Is pacify innumerable sentient beings. Once the intention set up this scope, then all the framework from this aspiration expand unlimitedly, because you're the object, the people you want to help is innumerable. Okay, so your framework is unlimited. And the first aspiration is, Lord, with the virtuous root from upholding the 10 precepts and vows, I wish to obtain the wisdom of the true Dharma in all my lives. This is my first great aspiration. So what is the wisdom of the true Dharma? It actually refers to the wisdom of the Buddha, the wisdom from our true nature, from the Tathagata. It's unlimited and pervasive. So I wish life after life, I can always obtain the wisdom of the true life, true Dharma, so that I can fulfill, you know, to my 10 precepts, life after life. And the second is, Lord, having obtained the wisdom of the true Dharma, I shall explain the true Dharma to the sentient beings without rest or wellness. This is my second great aspiration. You see, sometimes, you know, as a monastic, a lot of our Fashi complain to our Sifu saying that I don't want to go out to talk, you know, I don't want to teach because I don't fully understand yet how, you know, how can I go out and teach? What if I make mistake? What if I say something wrong? And Sifu say, no problem. You go out and say, talk about, explain to people what you know, and then don't mention what you don't know. And you can explain what you understand, even though you cannot fully exercise it. For example, we all know that we shouldn't get emotional, you know. The emotion is no good. We cannot be arrogant. We cannot be, you know, jealousy. We cannot be angry or, you know, so on and so forth. But we still do. But we still stand out and remind people, don't get jealousy, don't get angry, don't get, you know, arrogant. That's reminding, you know, we still explain to people, you know, without rest or wellness. Don't get tired and be enthusiastic. Share what you know to others. That's encouragement from our master to the monastic, that this is our job, you know, to share the Dharma. And also, this is also the duty for all the practitioners, for the Mahayana Bodhisattva past practitioners, that we should explain the true Dharma to other people again and then again and then again, just like washing Fashi, okay? Never get tired. The third one is, Lord, as to embracing the true Dharma, I will offer up my body, my life, and my possessions to protect and uphold the true Dharma. This is my third great aspiration, means I sacrifice everything I have to protect and uphold the true Dharma. This is also very difficult. I remember when I was a resident volunteer at CMC 1956, I stayed there for almost 2 years in preparation to become a monastic. Then I was so tired because so many jobs, so many duties there. So one day I saw a newspaper talking about, death from overwork. Young people die from overwork. And so after breakfast, I asked Sifu, saying that, will us die from overwork? And Sifu just replied, no, you will not die from overwork if you work for the 3 jewels. And if really die, you just chant Amitabha and go to the pure then. That's very worthwhile, very rewarding practice. Okay, so here, I'm going to stop here. That these 3 aspirations are the Queen Śrīmālā's wishes for her future practice that will help her to uphold the 10 great vows, life after life. So here you can see there is a term show up again and again, is about the true Dharma. So okay, this one very important thing. I'll talk about this later. That embracing the true Dharma is actually the key and the core things that we need to learn for keeping the precepts, for exercise our bodhisattva vows, or actually to realize what the Tathagata Gabara is. And all goes to this topic, embracing the true Dharma, which I'm going to talk about it next talk. Next is on October 2nd. I will talk about the topic of embracing the true Dharma.